It's been a rough 3 weeks for Penn State. I haven't posted since week two, mainly because week after week three, I knew we were gonna play Villanova. I knew how that was gonna go. It went as I expected, and we had a bye week after. Was planning on posting a video to that after, but then I was like, I'm just gonna wait, combine Nova and Oregon into a video. And then I had to go away for a little bit. So here's the video finally. We're going to be recapping the a little bit of the Nova game, a little bit of the Oregon game, and a little bit of the UCLA game. I'm just going to say my overall opinions on the state of Penn State football right now because this is probably the least I don't know what to anticipate for the rest of the year because expectations were so high. I mean, before I did this video, I mean the last video, Penn State was ranked two. I'm now doing a new video and we're not ranked. So, not good. Not good at all. Someone should get fired. They won't. I'm not gonna point at names, but a certain someone who's been there for quite some time hasn't done very much. So yeah, let's just dive right into it. Let's just dive right into it. Um, so the Nova game, like I said, it went as expected. I mean, we were leading 21 nothing at halftime. We came and um ended up winning 52-6. I don't even know what you want me to explain when it comes to that. I mean, I had notes for the whole game. Um, And in fact, the 6 points that we gave up was on the last play of the game. It was just terrible defense, last play, and it was great catch. The Nova made two of the greatest catches back to back, two of the greatest plays you'll ever see. One didn't count, and then they go and or it did count. I mean, well, one didn't count, but they just made an insane play. So, my overall thoughts on the game was there was the lack of elite coaching was definitely shown in this game, especially in the last two, the Nova game and week two also. Um, the inability to completely annihilate a team this low in caliber is embarrassing. I mean, 52-6. I know people are going to say, well, you won 52-6. Yeah, it this team's supposed to be competing for a national championship, and they're not going to this year. They will not. Penn State could win out, and I doubt they would make the playoffs. Um, Mainly because even though Ohio State's on the schedule, you might have some ranked opponents later on, not just Ohio State, but you have to win out. And I think the Big Ten championship's already gone. So the team who ends up, even though you make it and you end up losing the Big Ten championship, you're still probably have better odds than Penn State to make the playoffs at this current moment, even if Penn State won out. So I don't. You need to annihilate these teams like Villanova. You need to drop 70 on them. You shouldn't allow any points. I mean, yeah, you got backups in. I get that. Whoop-de-doo. But, like, you got to annihilate them. And uh, so after the Nova game, Penn State went into a bye and ended up dropping in rankings to Miami. I believe it was Miami. Miami ended up jumping them just based off of how they won. So Penn State dropped to three. Penn State didn't play anyone in their schedule, so I didn't really have much to say on that. It just made sense. Um, and then you go into the Oregon game. Now this is the second biggest game on the schedule for the regular season, at least. Um, in my opinion, this was the second most important game for Drew Allar for the rest of his time at Penn State. Because if you can't take the leap, I've been waiting for him to take a leap because I mean, I saw a meme that said Drew Aller is the James Franklin of Penn State quarterbacks, and they couldn't be more right. Drew Aller has all the skill set to be a great quarterback, but he lacks um, not instincts, and I don't want to call him unintelligent because he's not unintelligent. He's a very smart guy, but he just his decision making is very questionable. I do feel like I'm watching Carson Wentz all over again when Carson was on the Eagles. Because Carson had all the skill set in the world to do everything that like Patrick Mahomes has been doing for so long, but he lacked that. He couldn't do he couldn't do the easy things. He had to try and make things more difficult than they needed to be. And Drew Allard does that too. He tries to make these crazy plays when he can't even complete a slant or an out route. Now, I do think he's better than Sean Clifford. But like as of now, he's nowhere near Trace McSorley. Like Trace McSorley's been the best quarterback of the James Franklin era by far. And he has all the skill set in the world to be a great quarterback, to be the number one overall pick. And I mean, the offense was the reason that Penn State didn't win this game. I mean, you go to the offense finally got going in the second half. Um, the defense was playing incredible. The game was tied 3-3 at halftime. Uh, just the offense wasn't going because if they wanted to win, the offense needed to get going. Defense was doing all they can against a high-powered Oregon offense. It's one of the best offenses in the nation, and the defense was doing its job. I don't, I and it's crazy because you go to the UCLA game and completely different story. Um, I mean, you're going into the fourth quarter of the Oregon game, down 10-3. Um, Play calling was atrocious. Andy Kotelnicki, I don't know what happened. Last season, Andy Kotelnicki was, I mean, I thought I was like, this dude's gonna be calling plays in the NFL with how, I mean, I thought I was watching Ben Johnson call plays for Penn State last year. Then and this year, I haven't seen anything. It is a completely different offense than last year. It's like anything that worked last year doesn't exist this year. And you almost have to think, how important was Tyler Warren to this team? I mean, I said it all last season, every single one of the videos. I said I had a segment on Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren was incredible. He's the best tight end prospect I've ever seen in my life. Um, to be able to catch, block. I mean, this dude can throw. This dude can snap the ball. This dude can just take direct snaps and wildcat. This guy can do everything. And he was basically doing everything. And look, I think Katron Allen and Nick Singleton, I think they're having good seasons so far. If there's any positive to this offense, it's probably that. I think there's a lack of balance between the two of them. In the past 2 years, you've been able to rotate Katron and Nick Singleton back and forth. This year, it feels like you might have a more of a game plan set up where like Katron will have the ball for like a quarter and a half or like three straight drives and then Nick Singleton will have for like two straight drives, or situationally, Singleton will come in instead of just, all right, you're going to be the running back right now, then you're going to be the running back. I don't see that. And that's what made them such a great duo is that teams weren't prepared for the strength of Katron and then the speed of Nick Singleton back to back plays. That was incredible. And that's what makes NFL teams like the Detroit Lions so good. David Montgomery does so well just running over dudes, and then you got Jahmyr Gibbs running past dudes. So that's what the duo of Katron Allen and Nick Singleton has been for the last 4 years. Um, and Uh, there's no reliance on the run game this year. It's like we're trying to have Drew Aller do easy stuff, and he can't even do that. So, I mean, you get into the offense got going. They ended up outscoring Oregon overall in the fourth quarter. Ended up going to overtime 17-17. First overtime period, Katron runs in for a touchdown. I noticed a lot of jet sweeps in general from Penn State, which just I don't know why you're doing so many. Like at some point, the jet sweeps are going to get blown up, and they were. Um, Oregon ended up tying it with a touchdown of their own. Went to second overtime period. Oregon ended up scoring on the first possession. Their 2 point conversion was unsuccessful. Dennis Sutton, man. Dennis Sutton is going to have one of the greatest defensive seasons by a Penn State player ever, and it's going to be just, it's going to mean nothing. I mean, this dude should be put into the conversation of Abdul Carter and Micah Parsons with how he's playing. This dude's dropping back in the coverage. I think Dennis Sutton is a pure edge rusher. But then he just drops back in the coverage and then just gets an interception like it's nothing. I was thinking he's a 3-4 and 4-3 end, but now I'm like, all right, he's a pure outside linebacker, whether that's 3-4 or 4-3. And I mean, he's incredible. He goes and gets the interception on the 2 point conversion. I'm like, all right, all we need to do is get the touchdown and the 2 point conversion, and then we win. And on the first play, I have seen this play in the playbook for Penn State for as long as James Franklin's been there. It's this underneath fake, then throw up the sideline to a normally it's a tight end. And there was like three Oregon guys in the area. It gets picked off right away. Um, and that's the game. So Oregon ends up winning 30-24 in double overtime. Um, this was the game that sold me on Drew Aller. That he's just not the guy. Not the guy. Um, and I really thought he was. He's got skill set. Um, I don't know. I mean, going into this season, I was thinking like, yeah, he's probably viewed as a first round pick. And I mean, some people thought he was the number one pick. And the people were seeing Ben Roethlisberger, Josh Allen, and him. And yeah, I do see those things, but I also see inconsistencies in his offensive performances. Um, and I mean, he could throw a laser for like 50 yards one play and then just not be able to throw a screen the next. Um, that's just Drew Aller right now. And maybe with the right coach, he can be better. But right now, I wouldn't draft him in the third round. Um, I think he's more of a day three pick right now. I think there are a lot of teams who might take a flyer on him in the third round, but personally wouldn't. Like a team like the Rams that need to get someone when Stafford ends up hanging it up, whenever that may be. I think they would really benefit. I think Drew Aller would really benefit learning from Matthew Stafford and getting coached by Sean McVay. Um, you look at I mean, I would have said the Vikings, but they got JJ McCarthy, and they really do like him a lot. Um, so yeah, but Drew's just he's not a franchise guy. I mean, I mean, for the Saints personally, I mean, I thought, okay, Drew Aller can have a big season. Saints can go draft Drew Aller. He can be the franchise quarterback. Now I'm like, I don't want to touch Drew Aller, right? Like right now, I would rather have Spencer Rattler than Drew Aller. Um, I mean, I don't even know what I have in Tyler Shuck, so who knows? Yeah, it's very disappointing, and I'm thinking, okay, we drop down to seven. We're playing UCLA. I'm thinking our season is not over. I said it going into the season. If we lose to Oregon, or if we lose one of the matchups, it doesn't matter as long as we beat Ohio State. That got thrown out the window. I was watching this on the beach. I was watching the UCLA game, and never been more disappointed in my life. Never been more. I don't think I've ever been upset while on a beach before. And yeah, I was upset. You're playing a winless unranked UCLA team, and they are just marching on you all game long. Nico Amaliava. I am 100% butchering that name, and I apologize sincerely. In fact, I will look up the pronunciation right now, because I don't want to be rude. Um, Pronunciation. And this dude was incredible. I know going into the year he had a pretty Nico Iamalava Iamaleava Im Iamaleava Iamale Iamaleava Iamaleava Nico Iamaleava. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that. I apologize if I'm butchering that sincerely. But Nico, I mean, going into the year, it was a big time quarterback. I mean, there was thoughts of him being the number one overall pick going into the draft. There was big time, like UCLA was viewed very highly. They obviously didn't start the year off good. They ended up firing their head coach, and this is their interim coach's new is their first game. They have a new offensive play caller, and they just are marching. They score a touchdown on the opening drive. They go surprise onside kick, get the onside kick, and then go and kick a field goal. Katron ended up scoring a touchdown for Penn State following that. So after the first quarter, you're already down 10-7 against an unranked UCLA. Then second quarter comes, defense, yeah, continues to look horrendous. Now Tony Rojas is hurt. When it comes to college, it's very hard to just know what the length of time is on certain injuries. He's just out indefinitely. And Tony Rojas, I mean, it seemed like he was a security blanket in the defense, which he should not be. This is not how this should work. Um, Nico ends up throwing a 6-yard touchdown. Then he ends up running in for a touchdown. This is some of the worst Penn State football I've ever seen. And you're playing an unranked UCLA. I've seen losses to Ohio State. I've seen losses to Michigan State, Michigan. I've seen losses to when Michael Penix was on Indiana. I've seen that. This is the single worst I have ever seen. And that 2020 season, where we were projected high, ended up not making not even, I don't even think we finished above 500. Um, that was a bad year. Also, expectations weren't as high as they were this year. I mean, the expectation for some people was this team's going to be, some people thought this was the national champions. They thought, they thought that. Yeah. Penn State ended up turning the ball over on downs. UCLA kicks a field goal, and UCLA was winning 27-7 at halftime. If nobody got fired from that, that's just shocking. That's so shocking. All right, third quarter. This is just laughable. This is so laughable. It's frustrating, but I can't help but laugh at it because the writing was on the wall going into the way the season was playing out, and I don't understand. I don't understand what changed with Andy Kotelnicki, because that's a huge change. The fact that his play calling has deteriorated this quickly is it's impressive. I don't understand it. It's like he threw out the whole playbook and was like, I don't want to do any of that this year. We're gonna try something new. I don't know why. Um, so. UCLA kicks a field goal, start the half. Luke Reynolds fumbled the ball. UCLA recovered. Uh, at the Penn State 38. And then finally the offense starts doing something, right? So you're down 30-7 at this point. Drew Aller threw a 40-yard touchdown to Khalil Dinkins. Again, it's stuff like this. Drew Aller, one play, you might have the worst football of watching him, and then the next play, it's like this guy's locked in. And it's like he's only locked in then. Um, you followed that up by UCLA's punt getting blocked by Deny Dennis Sutton of all people. Um, Deny Dennis Sutton is going to be a first round pick. He should be top 15 pick, top 10 pick. I don't know why you wouldn't want someone like this, especially with the history of Penn State and how well those players, those front seven guys, and that edge rusher outside linebacker position has done so well. I mean, you got Odafe Owe, you got Micah Parsons, you got Abdul Carter. And I know there's a few more guys, but like this guy looks nuts. There's if as long as he stays healthy, no way he shouldn't drop outside the top 15. And I will laugh at teams who don't pick him outside the top. Who like he should be a top 15 pick. Um, so yeah, he denied Sutton comes away with the block punt. Liam Clifford recovers and scores a 33-yard touchdown. Uh, Nico for UCLA ended up running in a 1-yard touchdown. So at this point, it's um 37 37 to 21, I believe. Yeah, 37-21. So Uh, Penn State, fourth quarter, Katron runs in a 2-yard touchdown. Nico runs in a 7-yard touchdown. This dude was running, he was throwing, he was doing everything. This was a big statement game for him. I applaud him for that. He had an incredible game, especially against a scheme that's supposed to be really good. Yeah. 2-point conversion was successful for UCLA. So third down defense was just awful at this point. But Drew Aller threw a 15-yard touchdown to Kyron Hudson. It was a great ball, great catch. UCLA turned the ball over on downs at their own 32. Penn State turned the ball over on downs at the UCLA 12. UCLA punter Will Carroll winds down the clock by committing a safety. And Penn State ends up turning the ball over on downs on the final play. Or they end up turning the ball over on the final play, and UCLA end up winning 42-37. So yeah. This is the Penn State goes from 2 to 3 to 7 to unranked during this whole video. Um, wow. Yeah, I don't know how we're making the playoffs. Be lucky. I mean, we should get a bowl game, but I don't see. Right now, James Franklin, and I've been saying this for a while. James Franklin's only been capable of recruiting. He's an excellent recruiter, but after anything that happens on the football field, I don't know. He's just, yeah, I don't know. I don't understand. Um, and then Andy Kotelnicki has been extremely disappointing. Like he went from NFL level play caller to maybe a okay high school play caller. Um, and sometimes you see elite stuff, but then you see stuff and you're like, what are you doing? Like this is stuff that I would randomly throw a play call in with Madden and say, "Oh, direct snap Nick Singleton." Just flips it back to Luke Reynolds, who throws it to Drew Aller. Like it's it's so crazy. Um I, I don't even know what to say. Um yeah, this is just it's so crazy. This is the most disappointing year for Penn State football that I've ever watched. Um And I've seen some bad things. I've seen some crazy losses. It's been the Michael Penix one I think about quite often because I'm like, I don't know how he was inbounds. But it is what it is. This is just completely on Penn State. Um, I mean, Luke, we're not utilizing tight ends as effectively as we have in the past 10 years. With Luke Reynolds, who's a five-star tight end, and you got Khalil Dinkins, who looks very impressive. We're just not utilizing them. We got all these receivers coming in, and they're not being utilized correctly. Um, and I don't even think Katron and Nick Singleton are doing as good as they could be doing, and I don't think it has anything to do with them. I think it has everything to do with the coaching. So, and defensively, very hit or miss. Like, I mean, I think I was the most comfortable with the defense when Manny Diaz was doing the defense, and then we bring in the guy from Ohio State, and there's at times where I'm like, wow, this dude's really good, like in the Oregon game, and then I see stuff like the UCLA game, and I'm just like, what the heck happened? It's like it's like one game we have a completely different set of coaches than the other game, and that's frustrating. And I ultimately look at the guy who's at the top there. So, um, it is frustrating to see because I don't know where the season's supposed to go. This was supposed to be a lot of guys last year's, and it sucks. They're probably gonna some of them are probably gonna drop in draft stock. Um, I mean, so far some of the backups we see going into next season, they look pretty good. Um, that's really all you gotta look for. You gotta look into the future. It reminds me how it was before the expanded playoffs when it was just four teams, and where you have like last year, for example, there were so many games that I'm like, oh, we still have a shot at the playoffs. But now I'm like, we just lost to Oregon and then UCLA. UCLA, I mean, unless UCLA just goes on a run and then we look back at it as like, okay, Penn State lost to like two top 10 ranked teams. I don't see this. I don't know where this season's going to go. And I don't expect to make the playoffs. If we somehow squeeze into the playoffs, it would be a miracle. And but as of now, I have no expectations of the playoffs right now. I actually just want to get through this season. I want to make sure, most importantly, I can't stress this enough. I want to make sure all these guys playing their last year are healthy going into the NFL draft. I want to see Nick Singleton. I want to see Nick the Quick. I want to see Katron Allen, Fat Man. I don't really like calling him Fat Man. I guess that's something that his mom called him, but um, I call him K Train. Um, and deny Dennis Sutton. I want to see these guys go into the NFL draft. I want them to see them make a name for themselves because, I mean, they're clearly not going to make a name for themselves here at Penn State because it's just because of things they can't control, and that sucks. So, with that being said, you'll see me probably next week, maybe the week after, who knows? Just recapping more Penn State football, but until then, we are Penn State. See ya.